desk and getting ready to drop stuff over in storage. Give me a minute. I gotta pop you here for a minute. Sorry about that. I'm getting all this stuff cleaned up. Got a little busy schedule today. 1 minute, please. We are getting things ready to clean up this section in here because I had boxes in here for computer parts and stuff that I needed for work, and I've taken all that stuff over to the storage area so I can put it all in there. Because again, like I said, I don't want my home front crowded, and I definitely don't want my office crowded, so that's why we got a storage unit to put our stuff in. All right. So, as we all know, these particular trolls are trolls. Like to come into my channel, they watch my video. And again, like I said before, if you're going to someone's video, well, first thing, did I mention myself, who I am? My name is Kenneth Burr. My company's Black Series Edition LLC. This is all copyright-free music, by the way. But it's just a little message to these little creepies out there. If you're coming into someone's channel, you don't like this person at all. If I don't like you, I'm not coming into your channel to watch any of your content at all whatsoever, because again, I have other things to do. I'm extremely busy. I really don't have time to be in there watching someone's nonsense. The only time I come into someone's channel is unless I'm basically exposing them for something that they know they should not be doing, or they're lying on specification sheets or like that. That's basically about it. But other than that, to be in their live stream every single day, no, I got life at them. I got things to do. I'm busy enough as it is. But when you come into my stream and you have nothing to do, literally nothing to do, but watch my stream and then try to come back and question me on the things that I've said. Mind you, I've been building computers before you even knew who I was on YouTube, because I didn't sell screen paint first. I actually built PCs. I got them literally all over my Digital One account, which is my first account, shows off my builds. So I think I know what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm going to play a little bit of this voice so you can hear it, and nobody, you can't sit there and say, hey, you know, you should have never played my voice. No, don't call my company and crying about a PS5. We don't sell PS5s. We don't make PS5s. Nothing at all, period. The only reason why these machines are being built is because we have a gamer screen paint, and it's a very big, popular paint that we're going to be pushing all over Allentown, all through the gaming community online. It's going to be a very amazing product. And on top of that, it's linked to the Sugar Plum Fairy, Leviathan, other screens we're working on. So we develop and design customization gaming screen paints. For some people, truly need to get a life. I have no idea what's wrong with them. So let me explain it to you. This is the last time we're going to do this segment on you, because I got things to do. I'm very, very busy. I'm up early because I have to go to storage unit. I got to drop off packages. We got to bring the Christie 505 in here. I got to get that thing ready for repair because it needs new filters. It needs a new lamp. Got to clean the whole thing down, get it ready. And AdTech is going to be displaying itself this October in several businesses. So I'm very busy. I'm a very, very busy man. On top of it, I'm building multiple computers. And as I said before, to the troll at the end of the day, these machines that I'm building, it has nothing to do with just basically just building for the sake of building them. They're being built for the fact that we want to show these off on our gaming technology that we're engineering. It's already done, sitting over there. So, and let me show you why we don't entertain the trolls, and why this guy at the end of the day needs to crack a book. And yes, I'm going to play his voice. I'm not going to play all of it because he curses and carries on. He's pretty disturbed individual. And again, like I explained before, these are Jamie's groups. These are Jamie's groupies. As you've seen, the classified groupies, the people that he surrounds himself with his business, either they're scamming, they're ripping people off in the process, they're getting caught up in all kinds of dumb nonsense. They're stalking us, doxing us, stuff like that. You know what I mean? They're just weird people at the end of the day. This is the reason why I explain to people that when you're doing business, if you surround yourself with people that are doing bad business, your business becomes bad business. I don't care if you have an excellent, outstanding business. If you surround yourself around people who are doing bad business, your business becomes a bad business. And you've seen the tactics. And if you're doing dirty things, and people who are doing dirty business, they surround themselves with people who are doing dirty business. This is the reason why, Mr. Fernando, no one will give you a credit card information at all, period, because we have evidence, and you are posted on several different information sites for warning of your website for doxing addresses. Yeah, you're posted. You're posted on several different sites that warn customers, do not go near your website, do not put in information, because you have a habit of doxing address and copyright violations. Also, too, your LLC is a web LLC which you committed perjury. So again, your business is not in good standing. It's in horrible standing. But let's get back to this real quick. All right, because I got all day on this. I got things to do. Let's go over to the message. Now, this person says, well, my computer caught on fire because it didn't catch on fire. And a PC catches on fire, you're going to see signs of smoke. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire. Everybody heard that term before? That's what you're going to see. And this is electronics. They automatically show fire right from the door. They spark up. So, again, not educated, don't know what you're talking about. Matter of fact, the PS5 and other console systems that don't have proper air ventilation and do collect dust can basically cause all kinds of problems with your equipment. They can cause fires. They can cause systems from overheating. They can cause circuits and all that stuff, fuses, to actually disrupt and have problems. And you can look it up for yourself. But anyway, let's go have a looky at this person cursing and carrying on. Now, mind you, you're a grown man at the end of the day. I have a company. I don't know what you do for a living, but you're contacting me at 5:25 a.m. in the morning, complaining to me. So clearly you can see you have a mental issue, because no adult would actually do that unless there's something wrong with them. And you're contacting me about a gaming system. Are you 16? You're a grown man, right? So the difference between me and you is the fact that I have a company, I have a business. So if my company is developing, engineering a screen paint for console gamers and PC gamers, then guess what? We're going to display PCs that we're working on, stuff that we're doing at the end of the day that involves that technology right there. But you, on the other hand, you don't have a business. You're just an old guy getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, contacting the business and ranting about a PS5. Now, does that sound normal to everybody here in the room? No, it doesn't. It sounds weird. There's something wrong with you. So this is what I do from now on. When your messages come across, we got enough that's already been sent over to the FBI, so that's already done. They'll trace you, figure out who you are. This is not Jamie. This is one of his weirdos. And you're going to be put on a trace. We can figure out exactly where you're laying your head at. And then my lawyers are going to come see you. They're going to get proper paperwork. We're going to serve you and get you in a courtroom so you can see me face to face. Because for some reason, you guys have a fear of seeing me face to face. So you'll see me face to face. And when you do, as I explained before, your life is over, because I'm going to sue you for contacting my company and carrying on. And if I can get you on harassment charges, see if I can get you a little time behind bars. So let's go over here and let's see what he writes. You talk too much about the PS5, that and the other. And you're a piece of... So I'm that too. I talk too much about the PS5. Now, let me get this straight. So I know more about the PS5 system than you do at the end of the day. You don't know jack about the console system because, again, you're not tech at the end of the day. You don't know too much about it. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the average consumer that buys a PS5 probably knows more than you, because, again, most people, if they're arguing, they would put the specifications of the machine up, comparing it to maybe PC, because I go through that in forum sites all the time. They'll do up the specifications that the PS5 is this, blah, 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 blah. They'll break it all down, da, 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 and then compare it to PC, da, 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 da. There you go. And if you bring out like an elitist, more high-end machine that they know at the end of the day, they can easily take the PS5, they'll sit there and talk about expenses, how expensive it is to basically build that machine over this machine. Yeah, it goes back and forth. I go to these sites all the time. I've been to these sites from day one, from when it came back way back to Genesis and NES, which system was better, you know, the whole thing. But anyway, and he goes and he rants about how garbage and, you know, pretty much same nonsense. It's the same old stuff over and over again. And your PC you got in the garbage. I got a PC in the garbage. Just face it. Your tech, and look at the writing. The writing is horrible. Oh my goodness, this has got to be. It don't sound like Jamie, but I don't understand, Jamie. The people you have within your circle. I'm not saying all of them. I met some of its other, not trolls, but other customers that are quite intelligent. But these people you surround yourself with are stupid. They can't write. They can't read correctly. The grammar is horrible. It's like, what's the word for it? It's like your people. You're like the people over the hills have eyes. There you go. That's what y'all remind me of. The people from the hills have eyes. Look at the writing in this. This is horrible. Why would you put a period? Got a period here, just face it, and put another period there. What in the world? And then you start off a new sentence, and it's not even capitalized. I've got to print this out. I gotta print this out and post this on the site. We call them illiterate trolls. That's literally what the site we're building called. Illiterate trolls. We have all the messages up there for everybody to read all over the world. We got people in there crying. Illiterate trolls. And Jamie, guess what? Your business is in the center of it all. You know why? Because these are your little fans that come up and contact us because they're mad at us at the end of the day. It makes you look extremely bad that you are affiliated with people like this. See, that's why I said, your business, Mr. Fernando, the reason why it's crashing, it's the reason why no one's buying any of your stuff at the end of the day, because again, like I said, your site is posted on warning sites to stay away from your site. And you can't say, well, you can't do that because, you're making things up. No, buddy, we got a video of you doxing addresses. Do you think anybody in their right mind is going to put a credit card in, give you any of their personal information, knowing that you doxed an address or two different addresses? You doxed my address and you doxed my sister's address, which has nothing to do with you at all, period. But you put her address up there. And the fact that you did that, no one would trust you with a credit card or debit card or any other personal information, and fear that you may get upset and you may do the same thing to them. And this is the reason why you have criminal charges filed against you for that particular incident. She's filed a lawsuit against you. I'm filing lawsuits against you. She's pressing criminal charges. I'm pressing criminal charges. The people own the building. They're filing criminal charges against Mr. Fernando. Yeah. He doxed an address, a couple addresses on his website. We got the recording of it happening and the pictures, everything we need. So guess what? I told you before, you're going to jail. On several occasions, especially my copyrights, you're definitely going to jail. But anyway. So if you have a good business, as I said before, and you affiliate your business with people that are doing bad business, guess what your business becomes? It becomes bad business. But the thing about the difference between you is you can't sit there and say, well, I'm a good business and all the rest of these guys are doing bad things, but not me. No, buddy. We got tons of evidence on that. And that's why you've been posted to special sites. They are basically sites with the federal government, about sites that basically that show suspicious activity, and why these sites, you don't go to these sites at all, period. But in order before they can post any of this information, you have to show proof, strong evidence that these sites committed crimes. And we have strong evidence on you, Mr. Fernando, a lot of it, especially with the copyrights and all that stuff. So again, he thinks my PC caught on fire because it was garbage and it was in the trash. Well, first things first, I'm going to explain to you, Mr. Idiot. I've had these PCs for at least around roughly, I say 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. I've had them for about 5 years. As a matter of fact, these are the same computers that I've had in the house, with projector mapping equipment and all that stuff. I've had these PCs for quite some time. As a matter of fact, you see them on cameras multiple times. As a matter of fact, I even showed them up when I first bought them 5 years ago. So yeah, they run longer than the average console system's lifespan without breaking down once. Now, let me explain something to you about almost caught on fire. When a piece of technology catches on fire, like something that has circuit boards and all that stuff in it, you automatically see smoke right from the door. No doubt about it. You're going to see smoke coming right from the door. And you're going to see sparks and flames and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, this monitor wouldn't be able to function if that was the case. That means, mind you, all these circuits we have in there are all combined into different categories. And if one goes down, usually most of them go down with it. So if there was a problem, this screen wouldn't have even popped up. Matter of fact, not even the hard drive would have been able to read, nothing at all whatsoever. The fact that the hard drive was trying to reboot, which means the system was trying to reboot it, trying to basically read the hard drive. The only problem with that, it was called basically a program issue, which means that the game that I downloaded had a virus in it, and that's what caused the system to carry on. You don't know jack at the end of the day, period. Not a very smart person. But again, this is the same person who felt that no one does vegetable cooling. Oh my goodness. But anyway, and then I'm an idiot. Cuz. Wait. Cuz. It's a term that you can't spell cuz. Let me explain something to you. You can't call people idiots when first you don't know how to write correctly. Your grammar is absolutely horrible in this. It's unbelievable. And the fact that you're going to call somebody an idiot, you put down just face it, period, and then started a whole new sentence and didn't even capitalize there. Gee whiz Louise. So, let's listen to the weirdo. Scared me. You don't even sound like you got you sound slow. Let me get this music in the background. We got some copyright free. You're not intelligent. I can tell. Same repeat over and over again. Oh my goodness, he sounds like Hank Hill. Tell me he doesn't sound like Hank Hill. Tell me he does not sound like Hank Hill. What we have here is propane and propane accessories. Taste the meat, not the heat. Tell me he doesn't sound like Hank Hill. Wow. Again, buddy, computers and electronics, you got to crack a book, man. You got to crack a book. They don't catch on fire because of a download of a program. They catch fire if your system, if dust is blocking filters. Yeah, so problem you have with that, with the guy explained, the reason why PS5 and console systems burn out is because, again, it's not enough air ventilation in the system. They kind of compress these systems together. Second, the fact that there's these little air holes that they have in the case itself with boot power supply is that these can become clogged with dust. Everything takes in dust. Everything. PC's taking dust. Everything taking dust. So you have to go in. You have to clean your machines out every once in a while because they'll get filtered and they'll get filled with dust. And this can cause systems to overheat, heat build up, and it can cause short circuits. You can have fires. You can have everything that can spark off in your system. Or basically, if you have some form of faulty wiring in your building, that would trigger it all too. Now, everything I have in here, and even though the wire and everything here is up to par, everything I have is on surge protectors. I put all my equipment on surge protectors because I had a $4,000 amp a long time ago, didn't have it hooked up to a surge protector, and we had a surge go through the building, and I lost my amp. And ever since then, all I use is surge protectors. But anyway, keep in mind with all the projectors and computers that I had in the other house, and I had a ton of equipment in there, not once did I have anything go wrong in that environment. All the projectors ran in the environment, had computers hooked up to projector mapping applications and all that stuff that we use. As a matter of fact, this is the same computer I use for my projector mapping applications. So, this wasn't the PC that went down, you idiot. This was the one that went down. This is the one that's attached to my projector mapping applications. This is the one I was in there playing the Steam game on. Boom. You idiot. Gee whiz, you were not a very smart person. At the end of the day, he got the PCs mixed up. He thought it was this one over here that I'm working on. No, it's this one that had the issue, and it's a program issue. That's all it was. So, educate you one more time, because you're an idiot, and yes, I can call you that, because you were definitely an idiot. He literally thought that if the system caught fire, let me explain something to you. If your system catches fire, there's a good chance it's not coming back on. There's a very good chance it's not coming back on. You get a fire that breaks out in your PC and it hits any one of those circuits, your machine's not coming on. You're going to have all kinds of problems. Your system error bio is going to pop up. It's going to give you all kind of alerts about what's working and what's not working, what you got to repair. Yeah, you short out any one of those fuses in there and you got a problem on your hands. This is what freaks people out about being on carpet, or me having the cat around me when I'm actually working on that thing, because any static electricity touches that thing and your system is out. And I've done that one too. I've actually shorted out a board and I wasn't grounded correctly and shorted out a board. Complete, took out the whole thing. Doesn't take much to wreck a machine. So again, you're not very smart. On top of that, air ventilation, we need plenty of air circulation, and that's what I don't like about the PS5 or the Xbox system altogether, is because they're building the machines more and more powerful. When you have these machines like this, and these things also too, they did burn out too, they had problems with overheating issues. But if you're going to make these console systems more and more like PC, you're going to put more and more powerful parts in them, you have to understand that you have to have proper ventilation in your system, because if you don't, well, your system's just going to burn out, and hopefully it doesn't catch on fire, because a couple of them did catch on fire. Yeah, you have to have ventilation. So if they want to keep sticking your systems in these compressed boxes at the end of the day and putting in more powerful chips, well, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Can you imagine if they stuck a 5090 in there and in a console system and then compressed it into a little tiny case like that? Do you have any idea how hot those chips get at the end of the day? It's supercharged. You can burn your fingers. As a matter of fact, you can cook something on a CPU. So yeah, they get super, super hot. And then you're going to compress it in a small case with a small fan. Ugh. You know why you think people who have PCs spend so much money on cooling their systems down? My goodness. We just entertain them a little bit. We got a little time. You don't know, right? See all them boxes over there? I got to be in a storage unit to drop all those off. Got packages to take over to my customers. And I got some other stuff I'm working on. We got the new screen over there. Pretty soon we'll be working on that right there. That's projector mapping applications. And we'll be working with that soon. And we're going to be showing off more of the gamer paint. And on top of it, I got a launch date on top of that. Yeah, got a lot of work to do. And I'm building that PC over here. This is being built. So the parts are coming in for this one. The motherboard, everything's coming in to go put that thing back together again. Yeah. Liquid's another thing too that triggers off all kinds of fires that can trigger off on your PC or any kind of electronic device whatsoever. Not proper grounding, all that stuff. You don't have to worry about proper grounding when it comes to PCs. You don't get a grounding wire attached to your fan. You don't get grounding wires attached to your CPU or any of that stuff. There's no grounding wires there at all, period. Let me see right here. We have, overheating batteries, lithium batteries, prone to overheating. Let me see. Can lead to thermal runaway. Thermal runaway occurs when a battery producing heat faster than it can get rid of. That's another issue too. That's a problem I think they had with the those scooters and all that other stuff. Was having issues with the batteries exploding. This is the one that you guys got to worry about. Dust. Dust can cause overheating. You get enough dust that cakes on that machine, you're going to have all kinds of problems that are going to pop up. And keep in mind, you have to void your warranty to get to the power supply. And you're going to have to get to the power supply because that thing is going to be filled with dust. I don't care. Some people say, hey, I don't have it on the floor. It doesn't make a difference. I got air cleaners in here at the end of the day. Air cleaners, and I can still see accumulation from time to time of dust, and these things run 24/7. That's why I got them. So any building I'm at, I have these things running. So I got air cleaners in my unit, and that air cleaner, when I buy them to be to cover massive amounts of space, even though we're not using that much, because I know they work twice as hard to clean everything up in here. So air in here is quite clean. But anyway, and still, at the end of the day, I still got to dust out my machines. So I constantly, as a matter of fact, I just dust out the PCs a couple of days ago. That's why we bought and purchased this right here. Got to get yourself a vacuum cleaner. So you can clean out your equipment. And yes, you're going to have to go inside. Cleaning around the vents and stuff, it's not going to do it. You're literally going to have to go inside the machine and clean it. Like the guy was showing you, you're going to have to go in and clean that fan. You're going to pull all that out, clean it out. You're going to void your system. You have to. You don't have a choice. How are you going to get to the power supply? It's deep within the system. So you're going to have to get yourself a nice little heat gun and heat that up. Don't have it too hot because you'll burn up your system. And take a little pair of tweezers and peel that off. And you're going to have to go inside and locate that power supply and clean it. Because if not, all them little holes get clogged up and that thing can't breathe. You run the risk of a fire. You run the risk of basically the system overheating and just shorting out your system. Now, you see the benefits of the PC? Guess what I can do to clean my system? I just take out the whole side door and just... There's my power supply right there, easy to get to. Everything's easy to access to get to. Cleaning this out at the end of the day? Yeah. And I still have to get to the power supply. I got to rip... No, sorry, power supply's right there. But I still got to rip all this down to get to it. Yeah. Buddy, if you're saying I'm talking bad about the PS5, no, I'm not talking bad about the PS5. I don't like how it's built. I don't. This is why I said that trolls at the end of the day hear what they want to hear. I sat there and said, I don't like the case. It's too compressed. I don't like the shape of it anyway. I really don't. And that's my personal opinion. I have a right to my personal opinion. At the end of the day, just everybody else has a right to their personal opinion. Now, if I'm going to talk bad about the system, yeah, the hard drive is outdated. Who the freak puts 600 gigabytes on a system that can consume 300 easy, 250 easy? Come on. You got to be kidding me. And you got to take money out of your pocket? You already paid for the system. That's like buying a car and finding out it has no wheels on it. And like, what the freak are the wheels? Oh, I'm sorry. You have to pay for the wheels. Each of them are going to cost you like $500. Does that sound fair to you? That doesn't sound fair at all, does it? Or your doors are missing. You're missing your windshield. Maybe your steering wheel. I don't have a steering wheel. Oh, I'm sorry. That's you have to pay extra for that. How would that make you feel at the end of the day? You spend all this money for a car and you don't even have a steering wheel. Good luck trying to operate that thing at the end of the day. You have a pair of vice grips up there in front of your dashboard. Yeah. So that's what happened to you in the PS5 and Xbox system. You got a wonderful system. I sat there and said multiple times. It has a fantastic GPU. It has a fantastic CPU. It's nice. I don't like the fact that they put it all on one chip at the end of the day. They should have separated them jokers. But, whatever, to each his own. It's a good system. Only problem is you got ripped off on the hard drive. And you did get ripped off on the hard drive because you mean to tell me you have a next-gen system and after that system gets done, you don't even have a full terabyte on it. After that, 825, and by the time that system gets ready going through the OS system, and they knew the OS system was going to take that much space, you're left with 600? What are you going to do with 600? Honestly. Now, for the everyday Joe who buys one of those, that's them, right? But who don't have the extra money, who barely made it enough to buy the system. And then you find out that you're not going to have enough hard drive space. You're just going to be in there and delete it and put it back and delete it and put it back. It was bad enough when the Slims had only on a terabyte. People were complaining about that. 27 games. That's 27 games that you could download on a PS4. That's it. On a terabyte. Imagine a PS5 that takes a more amount of memory to play games on. Imagine that. And you're left with 600. You are way below. Way below. Way below. You're peaking somewhere around the systems when they come out with, gee whiz, yeah, them systems came up with 500 from the door. And if you sit back and you talk about, well, hey, we got the slim model, and the slim model, yeah, I've seen it for both units. We have a terabyte. That's not good. That's not even good at all to even talk about. I wouldn't even bring it up in the conversation. There's no way in the world you should have a terabyte hard drive space sitting on the next one. That's supposed to be the upgrade version with a bigger hard drive, and they gave you a terabyte? Didn't you do a terabyte already on that system? This system's got a terabyte sitting on it. So again, no, that's pretty bad. And then if you sit there and say, you can what? You got to take extra money out of your pocket to upgrade the system, and it's not cheap. And if you spend $100, say you go cheap, you spend $100, that's still $100 more you got to take out of your pocket. You shouldn't have to take any. That should have came with the system from the door. What are we going back to the dates? Memory cards now. That's what we're doing. We're doing the memory cards with the PS1. You buy the system. You got to go out and spend the money for the memory cards. You remember that era? Are we doing that again? Because that sucks at the end of the day. It was nice and had the convenient having the system with the hard drives already on them. So you had to get rid of the memory cards. Remember, you lose your memory card? Oh, you were done if you lost your memory card. So we're going back to the memory card era. Or you can get a flash drive, technically AKA memory card. That's pretty much what you're doing. So it's not worth it. It's not worth it for what you got to spend. I watched people liquid cool the PS5. You literally had to take it out of the case. I've seen people try to liquid cool them in the case. The only problem is where you're going to put the reservoir at. Where you're going to put the fans at, the radiator system. You don't have any room to put that in there. We're going to have a separate stand over here to the side, and you're going to plug all that into your CPU and go from there. Just have one section over here. Just it's no longer a console. It's not portable because now you got a liquid cooling system sticking out the side of it. So you have to take it out and put it in another case regardless to upgrade it, to keep it from overheating. Yeah, if you're going to make more powerful consoles, you're going to have to put them in PC cases. You don't have to put liquid cooling on them. You can do without it, but still, all in all. And for the troll at the end of the day to educate you, what causes a PC to catch fire is not a download of a program. What you just saw when the screen was flickering and on and trying to load is that the system caught a virus. That's what that was. And you can get that from downloading games, downloading music, all that stuff, and they can trigger off viruses. This is what people feared when you have LimeWire. People were going in and downloading free music, and they were getting viruses and all kinds of stuff that were popping up. This is why when PC gamers get mods, you got to be careful about mods that you download because you can leave spyware, you can put in backdoors, people can be recording your keystrokes, all kinds of stuff. So that's what you have to be careful about. I literally have to get this segment called Educated a Troll. Oh, we got to have a theme song to that. But we're not going to go any further. We're just going to block him and go about that. He just cries every day. Oh my goodness. He's in there crying about, oh, your system caught fire. Where did you see fire at? It seems to have sprinkler systems in here. There's an alarm system here if anything sparks up. So where did you see fire from? I didn't see any fire. Anybody else see fire? Nope. There you go. And I thought you were afraid of fire, caveman. Probably has other people like matches for him. He's afraid of fire. Oh my goodness. So, educating the troll again, 101. So, you see all these systems? These are PS5 systems. This is where people went in and they took the PS5. That's a PS5 right there. Yep. In a case with a liquid cooling system. Yep. See, you have to take it out of that case. I saw my sister's husband has it. I got a chance to look at it and check it out. I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that the case, it's beautiful, nice dashboard. That's all nice and all. Games look impressive on it. That's really nice and all. But for me, at the end of the day, this is for me. I don't see the point of buying one because I have to mod it out. Regardless, I'm going to have to mod it out. Because that's what I am at the end of the day. I take apart my machines and I mod them. And usually it's rare that I leave something alone. But usually, technically, I'm going inside of it because that's what I do. So, you'll have people that'll buy console systems and majority of them are just going to take them home. Maybe they might put a sticker on it. That's basically about it. Yeah, it's pretty much put a stand, some lights on it. But the other half are taking those things apart. Some of them just going to rip them down just to do a tear down and take the whole thing apart, put it all back together again. Just to see what's in it. I'm the type that mods myself, so I'm taking it apart. So usually when I went to buy my other 360, and that's when I dipped in vegetable oil, and the guy was like, "You want a warranty?" I was like, "Nah, I want to avoid the daylight side of this warranty." Yeah, because I was gonna drop that thing in vegetable oil, which I did. Actually, one of them I dropped into a PC case, a UFO PC case, and did a cooling system with that, and the other one I dropped in vegetable oil. Yeah. But yeah, this is a PS5, believe it or not. Now, what would have made the PS5 a little bit more impressive for me? Well, the fact that if it came with 4 terabytes, that would have been real nice from the door. If it upgrades, it has 4 terabytes capability, put the 4 terabytes in it. And again, for those saying, but it does, I love that. I get people that come to me, but it does 8 terabytes. You got 8 terabyte money? I got 8 terabyte money, but I ain't spending the money for 8 terabytes for, I'm going to spend $1,000, almost $800 to $1,000. Are you kidding me? For a stick, 8 sticks? To go into a PS5 system, man, $480 $80. That's an i9 processor and a motherboard that can eat the PS5 alone with no problem whatsoever. All right, even I'm not even the PS5, any console system, any console system with no problem. On top of that, it gives me the option on that motherboard to have my RAM at 64 gigs. That's not a lot for me because I've had much higher, but still 64 gigs when the average system is 16. That's what the motherboard allows me to do over a motherboard over a PS5. Hard drive capability. I can put 20 terabytes on that with no problem whatsoever. And again, the upgrading I'm putting on my system, on top of that, I can manipulate my power supply. My power supply is 1,000 watts. On top of that, it has a special system that allows me to plug the cables I only want, because I don't want a bunch of cables spindling around like I'm doing with this one over behind me. So again, my graphic card, I can upgrade my graphic card at will. I can't upgrade the graphic card on the PS5. I can't pull that chip. If someone's done it already, I would love to see that. I'm researching that one too, but still, it's a headache. Mine, pull it out, plug it in, that's basically about it. I'm done. Load the drivers, I'm done. That's it. So, yeah. And my machine does 4K. Actual 4K. Not compressed, an actual 4K. As a matter of fact, that card right there and the one the other I was looking at does a little higher than 4K. I can overclock my CPU if I want. So if you think about it, for the upgrade and for my upgrade for the system, I'm not to pay a lot of money. Not a lot of money at all, period. So, when you think about it, if you're trying to basically, I'm thinking about if I do the system, I'm going to update, it's going to cost me a lot of money. On top of that, to get that boot shaped power supply to fit in the case, because we don't want it bouncing around in the case. But that's the last thing I need is for that thing to be bounced on the case. We literally have to build a case to slide it in so it fits nicely in here. I literally have to build a clear box to slide the boot in so it fits in the same spot the power supply is supposed to be at. We can't put a boot in there. That thing will be bouncing all over the place in there. Yeah, so it's interesting. Oh, you got a torture rack system set up. That is gorgeous.
Almost the exact same specs, but the footprint of this one is much smaller. You definitely have to put in a little bit more work, but is it worth it? What do you think?
You see that kind of stuff at the end of the day? That's what I'm talking about. And the stuff you can put in is unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. He got a beautiful cool system. I'm doing one for the i5, i9. We're going to do a cooling system just like that. That's why I'm looking for a bigger reservoir. I don't want to put a bigger reservoir in mine. But I like his rack system. It's gorgeous. Then we got them new RGB fans, all that stuff. We can light up a RAM, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely, I'm gonna lean toward that. Now, for if you're into, I think the PS5 is a good system. Yeah, it's a good system. I sat there and said this multiple times on camera, but idiot trolls at the end of the day hear what they want to hear at the end of the day. Those dum-dums. Because, all they want to do is cry and whine on camera or cry and whine somewhere. They just need something to cry about 24/7. You can sit there and tell them that it's a good system. You just got ripped off on your hard drive space. That's where they ripped you off at. Because you really shouldn't have to spend any more money. You go there and look. You buy the system, all right? But you got to buy games too. When I buy systems at launch, I got to have an extra, $1,000 in my pocket, because when I go down there, system's going to cost me between $600 and $700. The first day of launch, it's going to cost you more money. Then you get your accessories. That's going to cost you more money, because they're not going to give you all the accessories you need to plug in for here and there, especially if you got a special unit you're using. Then you're going to have to buy games. The games are $60 a piece. So if you want 3 games, that's roughly $180 right there. $180 just for games. So altogether, you're talking almost near $1,000. When the tax kicks in, you know what that's going to cost at the end of the day. So again, I spent all this money to get home and find out that my system, if you already don't know it already, doesn't have enough hard drive space. So you're going to run out sooner or later. So you go out and try to find out how much the hard drive space is going to cost you. Even if it's an extra $100, it's too much, because I've already invested in this system. I should not have to spend more money. Especially, I can understand for controllers, yes. I can understand for games, yes. But not for the freaking hardware that came with the system. Are you kidding me? That's already supposed to be completed. Again, we're not doing the memory card era anymore. That was the memory card era. If you lived in that area with the systems that took memory cards. You went out and you bought your system. You paid extra for memory, your memory cards. That's what you paid for. So you can basically save your games onto the memory card. It was a required must to have that. So you will pay for your games, you'll pay for your memory card. That's what you'll pay for. We're past that era. We can now put hard drives in these systems now. And apparently solid state drives. So with that being said, why didn't they put a big enough solid state drive in there to begin with? That means you're going to take money out of your pocket and you're going to buy one. Let's go with a cheap solid state drive. And mind you, you want something with very good heat spreaders on it because again, these systems get hot and your system is compressed. So you want to get something at the end of the day that basically, like I said, I'd rather, if I'm going to do a hard drive upgrade on one of these machines, I'd rather go someone that officially that PS5 or PlayStation basically recommends you to use. Because if you put a third party in there, they might get technical and you say, well, we don't actually support that and we never heard of that card before. So we kind of advise you about sticking things in there that we really don't actually support. So it's not going to cover your warranty. I guarantee it pop up. I guarantee it. Because that happened to me. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. That happened to me in a port that burnt out the entire system because I put a third-party controller in it and it took out not only the port, but it made it where anything I plugged in it didn't work. All the ports were just burnt out. And they said, was it an official PlayStation controller? And I was like, no, it's actually third-party. Well, the problem you have there is we don't support that. And we don't know how that's going to react in our system. So that kind of voids your warranty. There you go. So go ahead and stick a third party stick in there and see what happens. If it works well, it works well. But if any complications pop up, they're going to tell you that, well, we don't support that. I never heard of that. Oh, I love that one. I never heard of that one before. So let me see, what's the cheapest? We've already passed this part about basically what causes your system to crash here. Overheating, basically, poor ventilation, dust, all that stuff. This stuff can integrate on circuits and all that stuff. So you can look through all this stuff yourself, what causes it. And again, for the troll at the end of the day, let me explain something to you. You have a computer in your hand, right? So this is what you do. Next time you come over there, because we're just going to block you from now on, because you're an idiot. I don't have time to entertain idiots. Next time a dumb question pops up in your head, this is what you do. You go over to your phone and you type in what causes a PC or anything electronic to overheat and catch fire, and you'll get all this information right here, right here, right here. You need a bouncing ball for this. I literally need a bouncing ball. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about just to the troll only. You'll get all the information you need right from there, right from there. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you some pointers in life. They're gonna help you out. All right. So, anyway, there's a thing called a book, right? And they're very easy to use. There's no instructions whatsoever. It's very easy. It's not complicated. What you do is you just open it up. Make sure you start from the first page. If you start from the ending, it's just, you can read it back. I hope you don't read it backwards. Oh my God, he probably reads books backwards, so I can think about that one. But anyway, and you open it up and knowledge comes out. Now, the thing about it is, about this whole thing about knowledge, is you have to have an open mind to understand it. You understand? You can't be closed-minded and trying to learn knowledge. It doesn't work that way. You have an open mind. You have to be willing to indulge yourself into what you're reading and to give understanding and accept. You understand how that all works, right? All right. Anyway, I think if there were aliens that crashed on the earth and they just fed off people's brains, he would be the only one walking around. Oh my goodness, he'd be like Fry in Futurama. Remember the giant brain in Futurama? And they couldn't, Fry had no thoughts at all. They couldn't take him out. He had immortality toward him because you're Fry in Futurama. That's literally what you are. They were like, oh my goodness, like, I never seen anything like it. That's what you remind me of, Fry from Futurama, where the brain came down and they came out to invade the earth and they just couldn't take him down. He was just downright stupid. Oh man, I don't like to call people idiots. I really don't, people. I don't. But come on, man. Can you blame me? This is the same fellow who came in and made the comment. Jamie made one. He made one about how no one drops PCs in vegetable oil. They're all over YouTube. How can you miss that? And then he comes in and he talks about that the PC overheat is garbage. Dude, I had that PC before I knew you. What are you talking about? I had that PC before I knew you. Before I even heard of you at the end of the day. For any of y'all. I've had it for 5 years, that machine. So yeah. My goodness. Do, 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 do. Let me see. Let me see. What's the cheapest you can get 4 terabytes and an M2 solid state drive? Ooh, that freaks me out. I don't think I might buy one of these. I'm curious to see how long that would actually last. eBay got one for 50 bucks. $50. Yeah. I'm gonna buy one. I'm curious. I'm not putting it in any of my machines. Oh heck no. I'm gonna get a dummy board. I just want to build a dummy system set up so we can test stuff in. I'm curious how that would work. This thing actually works, man. I'm gonna basically boost this page. I'm gonna put them everywhere. Because we do that on eBay. We buy people's projectors, and if your projector does well, we basically boost your page. We advertise you everywhere. Let me see. Amazon. Amazon cheapest, I would say roughly from a Trust One, $179. So 180 bucks is what you're going to pay. That's still considered the fact that you already paid for your system. So you should never have to pay for this. This should never come out of your pocket at all, period. You invested in their system at the end of the day. This is why we give you free shipping and all that stuff. We give you free stuff and packages, free screens. I've given away free screens. I gave away free paint compressors, paint sprayers, the Wagner paint sprayers. I gave away tons of free lights, fire sticks, all that stuff for free. Because it's a thank you by saying, hey, thank you for supporting my company, and you get free shipping and you get all this for free. Yeah, on top of that, you've already invested in the system. You invested in their games. And mind, you got to pay for the online subscription, too. Don't forget about that. You got to pay for that, too. And that's not exactly cheap, so you'll be paying for that, too. And then you're going to have to pay for this. Because you can't download all those games. They give you all those beautiful games to look at in the store, to buy. And you got to think like, gee, what can I delete off the system to add that on there? You should never have that thought process. Should never hit in your head in the next-gen system. Now, I can see about that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's an older gen system. But when I got people coming to the room to me, but we can upgrade to 8 terabytes. Yeah, you can upgrade to 8 terabytes. How much are you willing to pay for that? That's what it comes down to. How much money are you willing to pay for when it comes to doing that upgrade? It costs more than your system. Yeah, good luck on that. Costs more than your system. Now, for you people saying, well, you can put those on PCs. Yeah, but look at the investment on a PC. No, I'm not putting $800 on a system that I can't go in and change out graphic cards, CPUs, and all that stuff. No, if I touch any of that stuff, I void my warranty. At all, period. We don't care about warranties anyway. We don't care about warranties. So, no, that's a crazy investment to put on something at the end of the day. It's like putting Bugatti doors. You know what the doors cost for a Bugatti? It's like putting that on a Honda. Nothing wrong with your Honda communities. At the end of the day, I love your cars. Trust me, I do. But you know what I'm talking about from the door. You're not going to put something on your car that's going to cost more than your car's value at the end of the day. Something especially is going to cost you thousands of dollars to do it. Which I'm curious on that one. How much does it cost for Bugatti doors? Because I know the oil change on one of these things was like $27,000. You think I'm joking? Look it up. It's crazy what an oil change on one of these cars would cost. Bugatti. I'm curious. I always look at this weird stuff. I gotta get out of here. You gotta be freaking kidding me. Oh, that can't be possible. Do you have any idea what a windshield costs for a Bugatti? Somebody crack your windshield. And you mean to tell me upwards of 20,000 to 60 grand for your windshield? That's a car. That's a small home right there. $60,000. So imagine what the doors are going to cost you. See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Oh, learn something new every day. Yeah, well, I guess if you can afford a car, $60,000 ain't a drop in the bucket for you at the end of the day to pay for, because man, it ain't nothing at the end of the day. Jeez, Louise, that's crazy. But that's what I'm talking about. The fact that you got to dump out that kind of money at the end of the day for a system that, again, doesn't give you manipulating capabilities to go in and change your system at will. On top of that, like I said, it costs more than the system. Let's put it this way. It costs more than the system itself. It does. It's more than the system. This is 4 terabytes, so you know from the door. It's not 8, it's actually 4. Yeah, it costs more than the system. Systems were like $500 now. Yeah. So when I get people that come in the room talking about, yeah, but you know, we can do 8 terabytes. Yeah, but really? You're going to pay $829 for a stick that costs more than your system at the end of the day? No, man. No. My system's going to cost me about $1,400 to build. That's it. So $1,400 to build my system, and we're talking about my specs will be at a i9 processor, 4 terabytes on an M2, and an additional 20 terabytes for backup. 20 terabytes. That's a lot for the big boy system. I'm going to start off with my graphic card. It's going to be a 4060, and yeah, that's more advanced than the 3070s or anything you have under the PS system. Power supply about 1,000 watts. My RAM is going to be 64 gigabytes of RAM. I know it's overkill. We don't need that much, but might as well max out the board, right? That's why I was in there looking at, like, can I get like 32 on one stick? Because it's got 2 slots in there, and it says upgrades to 64, so I'm dropping the whole 64 in. So yeah. All together, and that's including the case and everything I want to get for it, and when the mod toys to hook it up and everything, yeah, roughly it's going to cost me $1,500, about $1,400. I say $1,450. I says, well, it's going to come to. Yeah, tax and all, I say, yeah, around $1,500 maybe. So, all together, yeah, for what you pay for your system, if I'm going to mod out the PS5, everything I would need for it would cost me $1,060. But that's with 4 terabytes only in the system. Now, if I want to update it to the full 8, max it out, it's going to cost me $2,000, somewhere up to $2,000 with all the modifications I have to do to it on top of that. And that includes liquid cooling systems and all that, new case, all that stuff. Yeah. And in mind, keep in mind, you have to resolder and rewire all the USB outputs and everything else that's attached to the case. That's rewired into the other case, so it's not going to be plug in and play. It's going to be soldered city, rewired in soldered city. So, for the troll who got all upset, let me explain something to you. Gaming PC is far more advanced than console. You don't build games on console. I've never seen a game programmer ever building a game on a console. They're built on PCs. Your system is going full circle, which means when you started off with Genesis and NES and all that stuff, how far back those systems were, yeah, PCs were way beyond that. But even now, with the technology you have now, still, you got PCs that are still way behind that, way ahead of that. You have a standard PC, but you have a standard PC where basically it doesn't allow you to go in and be able to manipulate your machine. That's what the problem is. It's kind of like owning a house and being told that you can't go in certain rooms. You have access to your room, you have access to a bathroom, but everything else is off limits. You can't go in those rooms. They're sealed off. That's what you go through on a console. Where PC, on the other hand, not only can we go through those rooms, but we can build extensions to it. We can build a place here, there. We got all this vast land, like, what the freak I want to put over there? I don't even know. I might put a boat over there. I might put a boat over there. I might put a space. We got that ability. At the end of the day, we have the ability to build. Where in console, they just started letting you guys touch hard drives. Well, they've been letting you guys touch hard drives, but at one point, you couldn't touch the hard drive at all. You open up that thing you're pointing to, it's going just like that. Now they do allow you to go in and change and do that. Maybe bit by bit, they may give you more and more access to your building that you paid for. They may give you a little bit more room and a little bit more room. And then next you know, you'll be going to change out your power supply and change out your RAM and all that stuff. And guess what you have now? You no longer have a console anymore. You have a PC. That's what you have. They're going to have to stick it in one of these cases sooner or later, because you can't keep taking these more powerful parts and sticking into these console systems and saying, hey, look, this is going to work. But a little bit of cooling system is going to work. They know it's going to burn out. You have to be to get access to those places. So when you get to this point and you can get in there and manipulate and take whatever you want out of it and design your cooling system, welcome to PC. You've officially hit a PC now. All your games are now downloadable. So now, frankly, copies of games are going to disappear and everything's going to be all digital download, if it isn't already hitting it already. So you have now come into PC. Well, what you have is, and I have console gamers who say this, and they'll say, hey, well, we're close to PC. Yeah, you are close to a PC. I do admit that 100%. You are close to a PC. But can you compete with one? No, you cannot compete with one. You can't compete with one at all, period. For the price it's going to cost me to build an Elite PC, it's around almost $1,500. But if I were to max out your machine, including with the 8 terabytes, the whole 9 yards, yeah, it's going to cost me a lot of money. Roughly, say I just left the machine alone, no liquid cooling, just leave it alone. $500. I pay $1,000 for this stick to put in this system. It's going to cost me $1,500, including mind you, taxes and all that stuff. So it's still going to cost me $1,500. I don't add no liquid cooling system into it. I don't put it into a bigger case. I just call for $500 for the PS5, and then I go in here and I toss in one of these high-grade sticks, and that's going to cost me between, so I say roughly I could get it for $400, maybe about $1,400, $1,500. Or I can go out and get myself an i9 processor and a beast of a motherboard around 480, and including with all the stuff when we add into it, like the liquid cooling system, the big boy 420s in there, and all that other cool stuff, and get this monster insane PC that's future-proof, that's going to cost them at the same price too. There you go. Yep. And that's what a lot of people are finding out. A lot of my console gamer friends are now have PCs now, because they did the math. And for some people saying, well, you can be satisfied with 4. Yeah, you can be satisfied with 4, but for how long? How long is that going to last? They keep building these games more and more powerful, and these games take more and more memory and more memory. It's insane on how much memory these games can actually eat up now. Look at that. $954. Let me see this for a minute. $954. Oh, by the way, yeah. You want to invest in one of these. You're still going to have to go void your warranty, but you want to invest in one of these. These are the. You're going to get a little vacuum cleaner, and you're going to open up your system. And some people don't want to go in there. They don't want to go in there. They want to mess it up. And this is the messed up thing about it. They don't want to go into the system. They don't want to touch anything in there. Mind, you got to remove some wires and stuff and all that. And then he's like popping your case and stuff. You have to move around in there. And they don't want to go in there because they're afraid that they're going to mess it up. They're not going to be able to put it back together. I can understand that 100%. You know, that's how you're going to feel. You know, so maybe you got a friend of yours. Maybe he does that kind of work today. Anybody that works on computers, they can pop that thing open, go in there and clean it out with no problem whatsoever. They work machines all day long. Get somebody else to do it. Some places will charge you for it, which is a shame. They're going to charge you money to pop over the cleaner, just clean it out with dust. Clean out the dust, that's all that's about it. But if you're willing to go in there, you know, and you're not voiding your warranty by going in, mind you, the stickers are on the other side where the power supply's at. So this is what you're going to need to get. And you're going to hook all that up. You're going to go into your system, you know, clean all that out and make sure it's unplugged. Now, if you don't want to go in there, well, basically, it's a ticking time bomb. If you don't clean it, then it's going to get dirty, and eventually it's going to burn out, or maybe catch on fire. Cleaning the PS5 power supply. So for the troll who got all upset, got all butthurt at the end of the day, and they're getting all mad, talking about, how dare he? How dare he Kind of reminds me of Taryn Owens when he got mad about he was on Cowboys. Oh, good, he's such a drama queen. And we used to have a segment in Philadelphia called "What Is It Now?" T.O. Because every time he was always crying about something. And somebody said something in the press conference about the Dallas Cowboys. It wasn't really anything bad. This man started crying on camera. Nobody. Nobody talking about my voice that way. Nobody. He was such a drama queen. That's why we got rid of him. I couldn't stand it. Man, he's a fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic player. He's good. He's good. He is. He's a drama queen. It just we couldn't take it anymore. It was too much. He even had a song. We loved T.O. so much. He had a song. He was glorified. We liked him, but he was just too much. It had to be all about him 24/7. It got to the point where it just became sickening just to look at him. Ugh. But he had a song called T.O. 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 Yeah. We loved him when he came over to Philly. And he did a fantastic job. He was a fantastic football player. I would never sit there and say that he sucked. No, he was good. He was a drama queen at the end of the day. It always had to be about him. He always had to be on camera. And even when some of you guys people on there who was basically everybody pulling their weight, they doing their part, but it always had to be about him. Oh, we're rivals against Dallas, right? And I never forget. Actually, it was a smart move, but it also was a dumb move because you don't do stuff like that in the middle of a game. You trigger off all kinds of stuff with trigger off in games. This guy literally, I'm gonna wait if we find it. This guy literally, and after we played Dallas, he went over to the Dallas team and got one of them to sign his autograph on the Eagles glove. Yeah, that triggered some people big time. I'm not saying it went well for him. Just saying he was receiving some messages that weren't pleasant. I'm going to put it that way. But in a way, it's kind of smart. Because even though it's risky, it's smart. If he ever goes broke and he wants to sell that, you know how much money that thing's going to be worth? You got a Dallas Cowboys signature on an Eagles glove. First of all, I'm pretty sure the person who signed it on the Eagles glove, he got a lot of flack for it too. But still, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, to tell you the truth. But still, I wouldn't do it. So anyway, let's go through the PS5 clean down.
1,100. If your PlayStation 5 has a model number that is 1,200 or above, it will have a different internal.
He's going to a super breakdown.
You can find the model number on the bottom of the PlayStation.
Which going to the model number?
Let's talk about what you'll actually need. The Super Driver set that has both the 8 head and the Phillips head. There will be affiliated links in the description of this video. The methods I show are very similar between both the digital and the disc edition.
There's your fan.
Processes to take your microfiber cloth and give the inside of the panel a quick clean. For any stubborn dirt or bits of dust, come in with your brush to loosen them up and then go back over it with the cloth.
You're going to clean the back side of your case.
Now take the console and flip it over to where you can see the PlayStation logo on the upper panel. We use the exact same technique here, and the corner to pull up from is where the PlayStation logo is. Pull up and slide at the same time.
So that
Whilst you're here, you might as well leave this panel clean as well. We're now going to focus on removing the panel beds from your PlayStation 5 and giving them a clean. This is typically where your PlayStation 5 will look the dirtiest. Giving these a clean is vital for the aesthetic look of your PlayStation 5. To remove these from the chassis, I like to use a pull technique which leverages the pressure from the center.
Anybody freaking out yet? I'm not. This is easy. Once you take it apart and put it all back together again, you'll be doing it over and over and over again. I was in the 360s almost just about every week. I was in there modifying something in the 360s.
Now we have our two plastic beds separated from the console. There are a few ways to clean these. If they are ridiculously dirty, you can take them to a sink.
A little easier, like I said, doing PC, you just pull back the door and you're in. But this, you got to go through a lot of stuff to get in. So you're going to be dust and cleaning all that down. Every part, you're going to clean every single part down. We're going to clean all that down.
To go any further into your console, you will now need to remove the warranty sticker. There are a lot of
warranty sticker, you hear what he said? You have to go through this. You don't have a choice. So, option you have, you let that thing, some people say, hey, I don't got it sitting on the floor. Don't mean jack. You're still going to get dust in it. You can have yours sitting up on top of the table. It's still going to accumulate dust. You have to go in here. So once you remove this, your warranty is gone. Unless they figured out a new way how to get around the stickers.
Whether or not that actually removes the warranty. What I would personally advise to save a headache is to not touch your warranty sticker if it's still inside its warranty. In most cases, this is about a year after purchasing the console. If you want to remove it before that point to give it a clean, that's completely your decision. This is what I like to use tweezers. You're going to remove this thin bit of plastic, which will then show the connector for both the fan and the power cable from the motherboard to the disk drive. I then like to keep the cover over here so I don't lose it. If you opt to use tweezers here, be careful to not pull up on the fan wires. Now, with the help of our trusty screw mat, we're going to start taking our first lot of screws out. I laid it out in the same orientation again, so it just makes it easier for when I put things back.
There's your hard drive right there.
Come up with your own little layout. The first screw we remove is for the SSD cover, and then just take out the SSD cover itself, followed by the removal of the fan connector. Without scaring you, this is probably where something can go quite wrong.
Yeah, because if you pull too hard on this and you rip out one of them cords, that's it. That definitely can go wrong. It's hard to get in there because it's supposed to, there's a little clamp. Sometimes they have the clamps on each side. Sometimes there's a clamp there. And you can't get your fingers in there just right. And if you pull too hard and you rip one of those wires out, well, guess what? You're done. You can go in there and fix it. It's easy fix, but still, some people, it's going to freak them out.
This is the method I've used to remove the fan connector, and I've never had an issue. You see here how we've got the connector for the fan itself, which then slots into the connector on the motherboard. The bit you need to pull is the bit that goes into the connector. In my opinion, the best way to do this is pinch all of the wires together as close as you can to the connector, then wiggle left and right very slowly whilst pulling up. Also to note, the connector can only go in one way. Fun fact, a dozen of these consoles have come in to me saying that the fan connector has been ripped off and I've needed to solder them back to the motherboard. The same method is used for the disk drive power cable, so you can disconnect that as well at the same time. Now we use our T8 screwdriver bit to remove the 4 screws surrounding the fan. Sometimes there can be quite a bit of dust, debris and dirt on the fan housing, so feel free to give that a clean at this stage. Our next step is to simply just remove the fan out of the housing and give this especially a nice thorough clean. Very much.
That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. That's it. That's the fan right there. Those are 140s right there. They're literally bigger than this right here.
Just like the vents that we had at the start, these can be quite difficult to clean. You might not be able to get your brush in between the crevices.
So that got to come out. And definitely got to put a liquid cooling system in for that.
Between each one, followed by a can of air to get rid of the remaining loose dust.
I'm not a fan of even fans on a PC. I'm not, because it really does not really pushes the heat around. Doesn't really diffuse it. Ooh. We're going inside. We're going past the warranty. Yeah, we're going past the warranty now. We gotta get to that power supply now.
What I will briefly mention is that on the disc edition consoles there is a small silver screw here. On the digital consoles you'll instead have a longer black screw.
Now don't get that mixed up. See the long screws right there? Because it's high up on this side, low on this side. You get the short screws here, long screws there.
Now we're going to place our hand here on the curve of the chassis and slowly lift up. Notice how we're leaving this wire disconnected but loose in the chassis.
Woo! It's going to be a boat ride. It's going to be crazy. Now for me, it's easy to rip these things apart, but man, this is insane. You gotta go through, you gotta do it. You have no choice.
You want to remove this bit of adhesive tape that's holding the ribbon cable down. You don't necessarily have to, but it will make your life easier when you're removing the ribbon cable from the clasp. Speaking of which, you need to push down on the clasp.
Oh, you rip one of those, you're done. Pull that out.
Now we can simply just remove the disk drive from the console. Take out the antenna cables you can see on the screen. There is 4. This is usually 2 for the front, 2 for the back. However, on newer models, you'll only have 2 antenna cables. Don't panic if you don't have 4. Also, remove the LED ribbon cable from the connector that's just beneath the 2 back antennas. Remove the tape that's securing the 2 front antenna cables and put the cables themselves over to the side. Now remove the little ribbon cable that we have in the front of the console. Now with our T8 screwdriver bit, we have a lot of screws to remove. You'll have this video as a guide as to where to put them back, and hopefully the quality is good enough for you.
It's not that hard to take it apart. It's just the fact that this is going to freak some people out that have never been inside of a system before. It really is. So majority of most people are going to pay to have this thing clean. But other than that, this is what you're going to have to go through to clean it. As for the troll who contacted me, Yeah, this is literally what you have to go through to clean one of these units out. Why do you think I'm going to take it out and put it in the open case? I got access to it. I ain't going to go through all this nonsense in the day. That's just craziness.
Safe. However, there are some small indications of where you shouldn't put the screw back, and you can see that with little horizontal lines at each side of the screw hole. Do not put those screws into the holes with horizontal lines. Again, as always, I like to put these screws onto the screw mat just into the void that you can see in the middle. The build-up of severe dust in your
Yeah,
PlayStation
certain
5
screws
and
go in
your
certain places, so you can't feed those screws anywhere you want. So you have to memorize where they go.
to also not power on again. It's always best to try and maintain your console as much as you can. Nothing too excessive. Even something like once a year is better than never. Especially now the PlayStation 5s are getting into their older life cycle. I couldn't think of a better time to try it. If you don't feel confident in doing so, there will be plenty of repair shops around your area that you can take it to get it serviced and cleaned. In the location you see now, there is a longer black screw rather than a shorter silver one. You still need to remove.
You can go to somebody else to do it for you. They'll service it for you.
Now that's done, what I like to usually recommend is lift up where you have the SSD cover and slowly pry the metal chassis away from the board. Now this can be
There's a heat sink right there.
so just take your time and try not to use excessive force again here. This ribbon cable here can also
There's the RAM.
rather tricky, and we're going to push down on that clasp, grip it with our index finger and our thumb and pull it out. Again, I'll show you under the microscope just so you can see the exact movement. Remove this stick here that's securing your LED ribbon cable.
The ribbons look like IDE cables. That's what they remind me of, IDE cables. Those are the old ones from back in the day. Those are much newer than IDE cables, but still.
Carefully stand the console up and turn it onto its backside, and there will be two screw holes indicated here and here. Use your T8 screwdriver to remove the screws. Flip the board back over to the normal side. I recommend at this point to put the small metal heat sink back on the console so you're not touching any random components. Make sure this big ribbon cable here isn't going to get stuck. Keep an eye out for your antennas and other ribbon cables.
Mind you, the Xbox system, I watched teardown on that. I would do this before I do an Xbox. Xbox has a lot of parts. It has 2 different compartments you have to get into to get to the access to those motherboards. Motherboards with an S. There's 2 of them in there. But yeah, all this. So, you know, for the guy who sat there and said at the end of the day that I talk bad about the PS5. No, I don't talk bad about the PS5. I tell you what the PS5 can't do. And clarify this. The last time I entertain you on this one, because I'm a busy man at the end of the day. Apparently at 5 o'clock in the morning, you ain't got nothing better to do. Probably you should be sleeping. Be contacting my office and acting like an idiot at the end of the day. Talking about sound like Hank Hill on my phone or on my machine at the end of the day, my answering service. But anyway, yeah. It has a good CPU and GPU. It has good RAM. It's 16. It's pretty much all you really gonna need. Everything else is gonna be overkill. But the fact that you have to go through this maintenance to get into it, to clean it, which again, as you can see, it's a headache to get into it. One of these things, it can be done, yes, or you're going to have to pay someone to go in and clean it for you, which is going to cost you extra money. If you want to upgrade your hard drive, which you're going to have to, because the hard drive is extremely poor. There's no way in the world that system should have had a hard drive at 600. What we have, 825 ain't nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing to even brag about. A terabyte's nothing to brag about now. There's nothing to brag about. Back then, yeah, on a console system, a terabyte was all great. But now, yeah, a terabyte ain't jack. Especially if you're designing games. Now, if your games were using the same amount of memory as the Xbox 360 or the PS2 or PS3, then yeah, you got enough memory for goodness how long, but your games aren't using that now. Your games are using way beyond that. I remember when Titanfall was 40 gigs. Now you got games 75, 120, 250, 300. What's the next one's going to be? It's going to be over 300? You're going to have a problem on your hands. So again, either you're going to go in and spend the extra money, which you shouldn't have to do. You already paid for the system. You invested in the games. You invested in the online subscription. And now you got to invest in a bigger hard drive, which means you're back in the memory card era, which is, you know, when you had to buy memory cards to get more memory. Or you're putting in flash drives in there. Oh, man. It's just, it's too much. And then when you add it all up, even if I just go out and I buy the system and give me the 8 terabytes, I'm roughly in the somewhere over the mark of what I paid for the projector. I'm sorry, not the projector, but the game system. I'm in there and it's somewhere between $1,300-$1,400 range. Or I can just buy i5, i9 and board for $478. And even with all the upgrades, I would tilt somewhere around at $1,450. And if I want to clean my system out, well, I just grab one of these and walk over to this because everything's out in the open, and I really gotta take off this and take off this to get to that, and the other. Done. That's it. But we're still monitoring through. I never said anything. It's an inconvenience. It's an inconvenience. On top of that, it's going to cost me more money to go in and update the hard drive. On top of that, it's inside of a case. You see how compressed that thing is inside of a case? It's running a very powerful CPU. It's running a very powerful graphic card in there. GPU and CPU in the PS5 is amazing. But you got it in this compressed case. Do you have any idea what PCs look like that are running the exact same hardware? They're not in these compressed cases. They're in boxes like that. So again, yeah, cook the system. That's why they overheat. And then you get a lot of dust. Keep in mind, sorry to keep pausing this, but consider the fact that you're in a compressed case. Yeah, this is all you have for your air, for your ventilation for air. That's it. That's all you have is one fan, one little fan. That's it. One fan. And then consider the fact that this thing will accumulate dust at the exact same time. So your dust is going to build up in this machine. Oh, and don't forget about the temperature in your environment, because that's all too going to alter your system too. Because in the summertime, wintertime, your apartment or your house or wherever you're going to be at is going to be hot in there. It's kind of hard to push out cold air out of your system or hot air out of your system to keep it cool if you got hot air out there waiting for you. That's why I like the whole liquid cooling refrigerator system. I had a big thing about fans because I went through that. I had a PC called a Red Dragon. It was all done in red. Everything was red. It had a big old dragon painted on the side of it. I had underneath my desk. And yeah, that thing accumulated dust all the time. I hated the fans. It always accumulated dust. I had these little screens you could pull out and scrub them down, filters and scrub them out with a toothbrush and put them back in. That became a headache. I couldn't stand that. It was getting on my nerves. After a while, the fans get noisy. Sounds like you got a Batmobile underneath your desk. And that was another problem I didn't like, was the fans were too noisy. And then what was the other issue I was having with it? Oh, yeah, the heat. The temperature was pushing through the roof because I had gauges on it to see exactly how hot the case was. And because the room I was renting, of course, you're going to have the heat on. It's hot in there. That means that the PC is going to have a hard time trying to cool down because the room temperature is hot. Man, you got the air conditioner on. I mean, that's a plus right there. But in the wintertime, you're not going to be running the air conditioner. So if the room's hot, guess what else is going to be hot? The PC also, too. You got an intake and outtake fan. One's going to bring air in. One's going to push air out. So you have your intake fan here. It's going to push air into the system. And the other one's going to push it out. Constant flow of cool air pushing in and hot air pushing out. So how do you do that if the environment you're sitting in is actually generating hot? That's why we use liquid cooling systems. Much easier.
This area can get very, very dusty. So again, very gently use the toothbrush to get rid of any stubborn bits of dust that aren't coming off, followed by the microfiber cloth and the can of air. When it comes to cleaning the grill here on the power supply, I would just say use your toothbrush and the can of air. Use this opportunity as well to clean the things on the heatsink here. Again, a very common place for dust build-up. If your PS5 is getting rather loud as well.
Oh, and just add real quick to the intro real quick. My screen over there looks much better than yours. You're in a gray paint, ain't you? Yeah, in the dark. I can operate mine in a commercial environment. You can't operate that stuff. I wouldn't dare run a PS5. I wouldn't even run an Atari 2600 on a gray screen versus our technology. Pac-Man doesn't even play. Can you pick up contrast? Oh, you can pick up contrast, can you? I forgot about that. We're moving on. Yeah, I can play Pac-Man or run any racing game or anything I want outside at 100. Oh, wait, I did that already at 180 inches and watch Star Wars at the same time. There we go. Yeah, that's the sad thing about it, too, that no matter what system you have at the end of the day, you still are going to have to read that infinity contrast level, which is required when you play Call of Duty, because there's a ton of stealth missions in that game at the end of the day, and it's hard to see anything if your screen's constantly washing all the time. Yeah, and your color balance is thrown off. Yeah, you just look. But anyway, he said, and your screen paint sucks. You can tell he was mad. He's mad. They're mad about our paint. They're mad about the fact that we build machines, or they're mad about everything. If I was talking about basically, what's funny, when we talk about more high-tech stuff like projector mapping, interactive technology, they don't even comment on that. You know why? 'Cause they don't know what it means. Got to pick and choose your battles. Pick and choose your battles. Oh, we still got to go in here. Oh, look at the heat sink on that thing.
You're probably going to see the most dust build up. Again, following the simple process, loosen it up with your toothbrush or your paintbrush, using a can of air to get that dust away from the console, getting it all nice, sparkling and clean. The aim of the game here is to be able to see through the fins on the heatsink itself.
I love when people say, but it has a massive pink heat sink on it. Yeah, but technically, even if you have a fan on top of it, I mean, you're drawing some of the heat from it, but literally you're not really doing much of a job. A liquid cooling system is a much better setup. That's why I said next time you're going to get a PC. PS6 or whatever the Xbox is going to be, you're literally going to get a PC. When I see that, I'm going to sit there and go, look at this. They got a PC. Because you're already halfway there.
Put the console back together. Place the heatsink and the motherboard back in the chassis. When you're doing this, make sure that you get all of the wires out of the way because you don't want to squish any of them.
Wait, are we going to the power supply? Or are we just going to not do the power supply? Okay, we just skip that altogether. Not going in there, are we? So, nope. Got to get to that power supply. Let me see. Cleaning the power supply on the PS5. No, you don't got that. Somebody else did it. They went into that thing. Let me see. Yeah. They hear what they want to hear at the end of the day. That's what they do. If I'm going to upgrade, if I get the PS5, we can't leave it normal. We can't. It'll bug the daylights out of me. I don't like the case, number one. I'm not a big fan of the case. I don't like it. So I definitely got to take it out of the case. And the fact that I don't like the cooling system on it, it freaks me out. And I know that thing's going to overheat and have issues with it. I don't feel like going through that crap at the end of the day. So now I got to go in the board, take all that out, strip all that down. So I got to go through all that just to add a liquid cooling system in there. And then all those cables and wires, they all have to be resoldered to that interface up there. So it all runs like a PC. Yeah. It's a lot of work. Just to cool the system down, just to have the hard drive. I got the hard drive separate, and I got it in a little box here. That means I got access to my hard drive. In my case, if I do it, I'm going to design for my hard drive. It's not my hard drive, my power system. It's going to be like a case where it has a groove. I can slide in that boot jack in there. I can put an intake and outtake fan, and I'm putting a temperature gauge. I can read out the temperature that's in there. Because there's no proper airflow for that thing. You do know that these power supplies have fans on them to keep them cool. You don't have a dedicated fan in there on top of your power supply. There's none in there. Even the what was it? The bricks. The bricks have fans in them. Yeah. Why do you think there's fans in PC power supplies? Them things get hot. Had to have a fan in there. So that's another thing that freaks me out is the fact that there's no fans on the power supply. Usually the bricks have little tiny small micro fans in there. Did you hear that, Mr. Tro? Did you hear that? I want you to hear that again. I want you to hear it, Mr. Troll. Mr. Trolley.
Fix your PS5 from overheating by taking apart and cleaning the system power supply. Now, if you didn't know, there's a very specific area on the PlayStation 5 that is very susceptible to getting clogged up with dust, and that is the little cheese grater-like vent all the way down inside of the PS5. That is the system power supply, and if you notice that this spot is completely covered with dust, then it's probably the reason why your PS5 is overheating. So in order to fix this, you're going to need to either send your PS5 to Sony, or you can do what I'm doing, and that is to
good luck getting that back. Mind you, you're going to go on a waiting list. You're not going to be the first one served. If you ever did the coffin, I did the coffin with the 360, and you really believe that, oh, first come, first served? No. This is a ticket system. Yeah, when they get around to you, they will get around to you.
taking the system apart to clean the power supply yourself.
Let's get to the process. We done been through all this already.
Remove the system cooling fan just like you would if you were doing a basic cleaning, only this time, once the cooling fan is removed, we're pretty much going to be disassembling the rest of the system until, if you case as well. And
We
it's
already
very
know that.
important that you're placing these screws back in the correct spots like I'm doing here, because otherwise the system won't go back together properly. Now don't forget the tiny silver screw on the bottom side of the disk drive, because you want to make sure that that screw is
Okay, we might
obviously
have missed it.
attached as well. The rest of the reassembly is pretty easy from here, because if you've ever cleaned the PS5 cooling fan,
Doesn't actually show you. He shows right here, but he doesn't show it. Look at that, where he's taking it apart.
I know there's a very specific area on the PlayStation 5 that is very susceptible to getting clogged up with dust, and that is the little cheese grater-like vent all the way down inside of the PS5. That is the system power supply, and if you notice that this spot is completely covered with dust, then it's probably the reason why.
Yeah, he did that for
PS5 is
disclaimer.
overheating. So in order to fix this,
You're gonna have to go in that little spot to clean it. So all these videos are showing you how to get access to that point. You got to do this before. If it says to give you instructions, do this before your PS5 starts crashing. Yeah, it's going to overheat. Get out of the way. It's going to overheat. You're going to have all kinds of issues. So you got to go in there and clean that thing out. There's your boot drive right there. Yeah, your system will overheat and burn out, and it may catch fire. So, for the troll at the end of the day, we're talking about, oh, your PC overheated and so, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the one I got below me is cleaner than a PS5 because I clean that thing out often. It's very easy to do. I mean, all I got to do is just pull the top off of it. That's pretty much it. And then take my disconnect. You see me going and just check around and look inside of it. Pretty easy for me to get inside, disconnect stuff, and pull things apart and just vacuum it all out. And I'm done. That's it. Finished. And the fan and the power supply has a fan on it. So yeah, that's it. Where I can go in there and I don't void the warranty. As long as I don't take apart any of the actual parts in it, then I void the warranty of those particular parts. But other than that, I can go in there and clean, do whatever I want to do at the end of the day. Where in this system, you're going to have to literally take this thing apart. And you're going to have to. You have to go in there and do it. Or if you're not, like I said, if you're not that kind of person to go in, I advise you don't go in there. Take it down to any place. They'll basically do the cleaning for you, or clean it out for you, and at least it's clean. How to fix a liquid metal problem? There's a liquid metal problem. What the frick is that? PS5 liquid metal fix. Oh my goodness, your thermal paste. What's going on with the thermal paste? Yeah, they're buying cheap thermal paste. I guarantee it's cheap thermal paste they put on there. I like to use that Arctic silver. That's my favorite. Yep, see, there's a whole bunch of topics on this system. Crashing. Of course it's going to crash. It's definitely going to crash. It's going to crash because, again, you're putting powerful PC parts in a compressed case. There is no real ventilation for any kind of air or any kind of cooling. Of course it's going to happen. And then for the person that says at the end of the day, you don't know what you're talking. No, you definitely don't know what you're talking about. All period. And again, if a system overheats, what the freak? Dad, go. Yeah, you're gonna tell me at the end of the day this is not gonna catch fire? Look at that. Can't breathe. You're gonna tell me at the end of the day that my system caught fire? Yeah. Where was the smoke? Anything? Smoke? Anything pop up? Nothing at all. Period. It's a program issue. It comes when you download a virus. That's what happens. That's what happens. You don't know the difference between a machine catching on fire and a virus between the two? Buddy, look. At the end of the day, you shouldn't even have a PS5. You shouldn't have any gaming system at all. As a matter of fact, get yourself some jacks. Go down to the thrift store or Five Below or something and buy some jacks or a jump rope. You need to get out a little bit more. You don't know what you're even talking about. And on top of that, like I said, the reason why I don't know you don't know your own system, because if someone's going to contact me about the PS5, they're going to break down the specs. They always do. Any form of site, they always break down specs on the system. You can't break down your specs because you bought a system. You don't even know what it really does. You don't know anything about it at all, period. He just said, it's the #1 system, it's better. Hey, look, at the end of the day, you got Xbox over there doing the same thing too. They think you'll go back and forth with this, whose system's better, back and forth. But they break down these specs. They'll say, well, my system has da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, and they'll break it down, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da. You didn't even add any specs to it at all, period. So you don't even know the system that you purchased. Singing like Hank Hill. What we have here is basically miscommunication. You understand what I'm saying? And by the way, your paint sucks. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it sucks, right? Yeah. I got them 2 orders. I got another 16 sitting in the account right now that I'm basically about to process and get out the way. As soon as I get all this stuff down, yeah, I need a storage unit, get all that taken care of. Yeah. Yep. That's European at the end of the day, but I'm pretty sure at the end of the day that if my paint was the only thing out there to buy, which pretty soon enough it will be, because that technology can take out. Oh, we got the certifieds coming up today. Bam, bam. I'm gonna put the certifieds against the screen. Yep. Yeah. But anyway, as I said before, if it sucked, well, it wouldn't sell, would it, buddy? It wouldn't work in any of the places I've been at. I got more on-site demonstrations than they do. I got more customers than they do. I got more tests. I got more of everything. More of everything. And yet they still haven't beat any of my match or better demonstrations. You just sour. That's what it comes down to. This is a very sour individual. But this is what we're going to do from now on, because this is the last segment I got time for this nonsense in the day. See your message right there? I want you to see something. This is what we do. We don't read your stuff. Now, I read it because I found it funny. Every once in a while, he does say some dumb stuff. We got to put it on blast. And again, stop calling people stupid. You can't write at the end of the day. You got to learn how to write. Look at this. Can't even write. Who the heck puts down just, period, and then face it, period? Starts a new sentence here and don't even put a capital there. Gee whiz Louise. My goodness. Dude, you gotta learn to go. You gotta go back to school. Okay, you know what? Forget it. Don't even bother with your PlayStation. Get rid of it. Just sell it. Get rid of it. You don't understand what you got at the end of the day. You really don't. This is what you need. Leapfrog. This is what you need to buy. Get yourself one of these. Get yourself a Leapfrog, Speak and Spell, Simon Says, The Cow Says Moo. Get yourself one of these. Buy some of these. That's what you need. This is honestly what you need. You don't need a video game system. You don't. Because, I mean, I would respect the fact that somebody contacted me and they gave me the breakdown on the PS5. That's the person I know at the end of the day basically does some research on his own system at the end of the day. I respect that right there. I talk to people who own the console systems, and yeah, they break it down. And I agree with them. I say, yeah, I agree with you 100%. And they can understand from my mind, from their mind point of view, when I sit there and say, I'm not saying your entire system's garbage. I'm just saying that it came with fantastic CPU, GPU. The RAM is real nice. You got 16 on that, which is impressive. I like that. But I just don't like the fact they put it in a compressed case. Its systems accumulates dust, which we know what's going to happen. And the fact they should have put a better cooling system. They should have put more fans on it. A lot more fans on it. If that, put a liquid cooling system, because they're cheap and going for $50. And the hard drive, it sucks. And everybody agrees that the hard drive sucks. I've never met one PS5 owner or one Xbox owner who sat there and said, oh, I'm just happy with 600. No, they don't like it at all, period. It should have came with 4 from the door. 4 from the door. That literally would have been a nice slogan from them. Why in the world are you going to stick 600? That thing has less hard drive space than this. And then for those who want to glorify the slim version, but it comes with a terabyte. Guess what came with a terabyte? That did too. But the difference between your system with a terabyte and this one, the OS system on this is not that large, where it ate up most of your terabyte. Where on your PlayStation 5, your OS is huge. So there you go. And what they should have did, they really were going to hook you up. They should have put in a dedicated drive, a dedicated hard drive just for the OS, and then basically gave you a dedicated hard drive for your games. That's what they should have did. That's what consoles used to. That's what the memory card systems did. So the memory card systems, basically, you would have an internal hard drive. The Saturns had them. They had an internal hard drive that was built in. And you could update all that to the internal hard drive. And then your memory cards were separate. They were used for downloading your games. That's how it was when you use your memory cards. But you had an internal, built into the system, you had a little section there for updates and stuff that you want to download to the game and stuff like that. You had in there for like system memory, whatever it was, something had in there. The Saturns had them. I think whatchamacallits had them too. And then the memory cards were for your game saves. Where in this, they give you a terabyte of hard drive space or 500, and the OS is going to take 150 of that, and it's not set aside for a dedicated hard drive to the side just for the OS only, so it doesn't interfere with your saved games. That's how they should have built that next gen system. That would have been perfect. Then you got 4 terabytes sitting on the system. The OS can't touch it. It can't basically do anything to it. It has its own dedicated to itself. You do know it's not over. You know how many times your system updates? How many updates go through for your system? And it eats away at your hard drive every time an update goes through. How many updates I went through this system? And if you don't update it, the system doesn't basically act right. You can't log into your account until you do an update. So you're forced to do those updates. So don't consider the fact that the 150 from the door is not the last of your updates. You're going to constantly go through them all the time. The problem is this is going to eat through your hard drive space that you use for your games. And in your games, they're going to have DLCs and add-ons and all this stuff attached to them. And depending on how big these DLCs can be, because the DLCs can be pretty big, they're going to eat more. Yeah, good luck with all that. So you're going to be forced to get that 4 terabyte. That may go pretty quick. And how long is it going to be before they actually bring out another system? What, it's another 3 more years? Maybe 3, maybe 4 years? Yeah, you're definitely going to be pushed into basically getting a 8 terabyte unit, or you're just going to have a bunch of cards, flash cards around, trying to figure out which one's which and plug those into your system. Yeah, it's a headache. But anyway, for the other guy, this is what you need to get. You don't need to get rid of your PlayStation, be done with it, and you pick up one of these. Get yourself a Leapfrog. This is more for you at the end of the day. And this will help you with your spelling and writing and everything else from there. And, you know, got some pretty good games on there that you can play. You know, you'll like it. This will be for you. This will help you out. I think you should get this. Now, look, if you want to sit there and cry on your channel and go, oh, he was mean to me. If you're dumb enough to contact me with dumb stuff like that, of course I'm going to treat you like this. You can hear by the sound of your voice. Like, what, you been drinking bleach, paint, whatever you been doing, man? Like, some of your brain cells are not even there yet. You know, they haven't developed yet. I mean, I hate to be rude here, but it's kind of like you're the equivalent of basically your IQ is like something like, I guarantee if you shook your head from side to side, it would sound like a single penny in a can. You're contacting me with this dumb nonsense. I'm not calling you, 5 o'clock in the morning and discussing a gaming system. You're a grown freaking man. What the frick are you talking about a game system for? I talk about it because I have a company, number one, and we're developing a high-tech screen paint. And I clearly said multiple times, I don't like the PS5 case because I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the Xbox case. If I was going to choose one or the other, I'd go with the PS5 before the Xbox because that thing looks like a waste can. I'm not a big fan of that one either. So, yeah, I would take it out of the case altogether and put it in something else. Both of them. I mean, except for the Xbox system taking that thing apart. Jeez. Man, that's why I said I give high props to that guy who did that job. I did a beautiful job on that, modifying that system. And I'm not happy with the hard drive on neither one of them. I'm not happy with the hard drives on them because the hard drive should have been bigger. So with that being said, that's the last time we're talking about this. I got things to do. If you don't like what I'm saying, then you get the freak out of my channel. That's what you do. I can never understand people who, if you don't like somebody, if you don't like what they're saying, then why the freak are you on the channel? Go somewhere. Go kick some rocks. Do something else. Get one a Leapfrog or something. Do something. When you're in my channel crying and whining, this to everything I say, this is what you call stalker tendencies. That's what you are. You're a stalker. You're obsessed with the man. You're coming into my channel and listening to everything that I say and taking what you want to hear out of it, twist it around, contact me at 5 o'clock in the morning and cry about a game system and call my screen paint garbage. You sound like a 5-year-old kid. You don't call me a duty head next. You're a duty head. Really? All right. So while you sit there and you think about that, I'm pretty sure you're on my channel right now. But when you sit there and you think about it, I've got work to do. I'm an adult in the day. I got things to do at the end of the day. I ain't time to be contacting somebody at 5 o'clock in the morning crying about a game system at the end of the day. You couldn't even give me proper specs on your system. If you're going to back up your system and say, well, this, that, and the other, give me proper specs on it. Don't go copy and paste anything either while you're at it. Gee whiz Louise. I am starting to cry about it. I tell you, always crying. If he ain't crying, Jamie crying about something, all crying about something. Always crying. Yeah. You know, just you guys really seriously. Okay, I got things to do. Oh, y'all have a good one. I got work to do. Bye-bye. Cry.